Happy Sunday, y'all. It's March 22nd, 2020. And what I want to get at here is two thoughts that I had kind of coming together. One, friendship. The other one is talents. Yesterday, I had a good conversation with one of my friends. For whatever reason, I have a very clear vision right now. I know it's a very trying time for a lot of people, but for whatever reason in my 9 to 5, my day job, I work in healthcare. I'm the director of operations for internal medicine, family medicine, pediatrics, and an insurance arm for a large nonprofit hospital and outpatient clinic in Northern California. And very clear vision during this time. I know what to do, come out to work, execute, and I'm loving that. The other part is my real estate investment company, and I have a very clear vision on that too. And had a dialogue with one of my best friends yesterday, my best friend actually, and I was talking to him, maybe I'm just called to narrow in on one of these things and focus. And he kind of checked me for a second and went on to say, and I don't say this boastfully, I say this to highlight the talents portion of what we're going to talk about. But he said, look, it really doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be successful, and that's not monetarily defined. You're going to be successful in whatever you do because you have talent, right? I'm thinking, but yeah, have I used my talents, or have I buried my talent in the sand? And so he knew what I was talking about when I say that, and I started thinking, man, there's an old parable that talks about somebody who owned property, and he had people who tended that property. It could be a ranch hand, it could be a farmer, you think of it however you want. And the landowner comes to the people who are tending to his property and says, hey, I'm gonna go out of town for a little while, but I want you guys to continue on business as usual. So he gives each of them some money, some talents. One he gives 5, the other he gives 3, and another he gave 1. And he says, continue on with your business, and when I come back, we'll settle up our wages. I'll pay you for what the work that you've done. All good. So they go on about their business. Now, a few months, some time goes by, the landowner comes back and says, hey, let's settle our debts. And the guy who he had given 5 talents to doubled his talents. Or in other words, he went out and really made use of the land and profited and was able to make money and give some money back to the landowner. And the landowner was thrilled. Wow, well done, good and faithful servant. Paid him his wage and continued on about his time. Same thing happened with the guy who he had given 3. Super successful, flipped it, doubled it, super proud of him. Now the guy who I had given 1 to had uncovered it from being buried in the dirt. And he gave it to his master, and he's kind of, in my head, I'm envisioning him just kind of like shaking and going, Master, I know that you're prudent and very shrewd in how you deal with people. I didn't want to lose it, so I buried it in the sand. And the master's like, what? You buried it in the sand? The least you could have done is taken it down to the money exchangers, or nowadays the bank, or somewhere to invest it and earn a little bit of interest, and you didn't even do that. And so he takes it from him and tells him, he's a wicked and evil servant. And I think, wow, where am I in that spectrum? I've been given talents. I surely know that you all have been given talents. Each of us, in fact, has been given a very unique set of talents. Now, the parable some of you may find familiar. You can find it in the Bible, in the book of Matthew and Luke, but it doesn't matter if you have a Judeo-Christian framework or not. That isn't the point. You can have an Eastern religion worldview. You can be atheistic. It doesn't really matter. The point is this. Each of us have been given a unique set of skills, characteristics, and talents that we're all interdependent upon one another bringing out. In other words, if you don't fully maximize your talent, the rest of the world will not benefit from it, and the same thing goes for me. And so as I was talking with my best friend, I'm thinking, man, like, how can I use my talents, if you will, what I've been given? And some of that could just be the fact that we live in the United States, which we have the freedom to do whatever, for the most part, within governmental boundaries that we please. We have access to almost everything, and that includes those of you and those of us who maybe didn't come from the wealthiest of upbringings, who feel as though right now is a very trying time, which it is. But there's no doubt that you still have a unique set of characteristics and skills that you're sitting on that we are depending upon you to unveil. We're depending upon you not to bury your talent in the sand because you're scared, because you don't know it exists, or for whatever other reason. We depend upon you going, I'm going to take a risk right now and be vulnerable potentially, step outside yourself, open up a little bit and say, this is me, this is who I am, and this is what I want to do in life. We have to use our talents, and I speak that to myself. I have to use mine. What are my talents? What am I gifted at? And how can I use those talents to serve, not just for myself, not for financial gain. Money's important. We all got to eat. We all got to provide for ourselves. But at the end of the day, we live a very, very short life. The fact that we're even on this planet is somewhere around 400 trillion to 1 odds. I can't even fathom that. 400 trillion to 1 that we're even alive. Maybe we get a crack at 70 years if we don't, unfortunate disease, if we don't get in a car accident, whatever, right? For the most part, 70 to 80 years seems to be the lifespan out of all the countries on this planet. That's not a very long time. What do you want to do with it? Who are your friends? How can they help you shape what your talents are? Simon Sinek wrote a book called Finding Your Why. In that, he recommends that we, to find our purpose or our why or our talents, connect with those closest to us, people that we can ask what our talents are. Sometimes it's harder to see in ourselves, so I'd recommend that. A, build friendships that will help you uncover your talents and that you can help others uncover theirs. Two, once you find those talents, rev them up, use them. We expect that out of you. I expect it out of myself. I expect it out of you, because that's the only way this world's going to benefit. And number three, how can you then go into the world and continue to help other people find their talents? I hope y'all are off to a great weekend. I know it's a trying time. Keep your head up, find your talents, one step at a time, keep moving forward. I love y'all. Have a great day.